All right, guys, what's going on? Back at you with a little surprise live stream. Give me just a second, guys. I got to look something up here for just a second so we can talk a little bit about what's going on here. And it'll give people some time to get in. So give me just a second. Where is it? And if you do come in, let me know in the chat if you're in here. And the reason I'm doing this is by, I guess, popular demand. Didn't really want to talk about it, but my email went off like Mount St. Helens last night, and people want me to talk about it. So I guess I'll talk about it. You guys make the channel. So if you want me to talk about something, I'll definitely do it. So, hey, I see you. What's up? Who we got in here? Kendra, Jill, NCK, Hurst, Chit Chat. All right. Good morning, guys. Good morning. So, I went and watched. I'm just going to basically tell you basically what I think about the whole thing. The violation of order of protection. Where do we go from here? Yada yada yada, stuff like that. All right, Kira, Chris. All right, so guys, basically, I went and watched Betty's video. Hey, Garrett, I went and watched Betty's video she done a couple hours ago. The thing that struck me is that she said she was arrested for threatening to sue somebody or threatening to sue some people. I don't think threatening to sue somebody would constitute a order of protection violation. So I don't think it would constitute that. Now, what would constitute basically, a violation of order of protection would be making someone feel unsafe. Making someone feel unsafe and all that stuff. So that, talking about suing somebody is not making them feel unsafe. So I don't, there's got to be more to it than threatening to sue somebody. That, in my opinion, that would not constitute a violation on an order of protection. Let's see here. And I think she said that she can't mention Sebastian's name anymore. And now that makes sense, guys, because when you file for an order of protection, not only can you do it for yourself, so Katie probably done it for herself and for her children. Okay. So that covers Katie and that covers Sebastian. So when Betty talks about Katie and Sebastian, well, to be honest with you, a good attorney, and just about any attorney. So I don't even have a law license. I'm not an attorney, okay? But I mean, I wouldn't even mention the person's name associated with the order of protection at all. I just, she'd been on here talking, after the order of protection was in place, she was on here talking about Katie and Sebastian, and dropping their names. And I wouldn't even be, like dropping names. It's very tricky, the legal system is. So, but anytime you have like an order of protection against you, I wouldn't be dropping any names, anything like that. So I don't know what was said to violate the order of protection, or what was done to violate the order of protection, but I don't think that it's what she said was, what is it? I don't think it's where she said that she was threatening to sue him. I think it's something else. So how's everybody doing? Anybody got any questions? Rat Track Gangsta said she's dropping them again this morning. Oh, she's mentioning actually names, Rat Track. I mean, if I was Betty's attorney, I would be telling her, listen, Brittany, I respectfully disagree on the speaking about Sebastian. The parents I understand, but the one Sebastian I don't agree with. Well, Brittany, the thing is, unfortunately, Katie put Sebastian's name on the order of protection, and more than likely, I don't know if she did or not, but there is a place on there for your children too. And unfortunately, if Katie did put, thank you, Brittany. Unfortunately, if Katie did put Sebastian's name on there, it puts Betty in a hard spot. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense, Brittany. I guess that's what I was trying to say. They will pick her up again. If she does it again this time, she won't get out. Let's see. Oh, and the order of protection. I guess Chris done an order of protection. Lisa B always says, make that make sense. Don't be order protection for a child that is missing under the care of her mother. I know. You don't have to tell me. Believe me, I know. It's pretty stupid. But again, they, they're using the law for their advantage. They're using the law of an order of protection to their advantage to one up somebody more likely. So Brittany says she should have shown up to defend herself. Definitely. I mean, I showed up to defend myself on my order of protection, and the judge told Candace Bly basically to get the hell out of his courtroom. This ain't no place for YouTube drama. And he put on the court papers that she couldn't take me back to court for the same thing. And Candace Bly stormed out of the courtroom pretty pissed off. But yeah, I showed up for mine. Because basically, if you don't show up, then you're basically admitting, what they're claiming is true. So, I do have to say, not showing up for the order of protection hearing was very stupid on her part. Very stupid. Because who knows? Could have had it dismissed. I did. I showed up and got mine dismissed. I got mine dismissed with prejudice. which means she can't sue me. She can't take me to court again for the stupid shit that she claimed. No, Kendra, I think it might have been late last night. It said 15 hours ago, so I don't know. That was probably late last night, Kendra. I think her video said 15 hours ago. She was sitting in a bed talking on a video or doing a live stream or something. But now when Chris does his, I think Chris did Chris do one on her too? I think Chris recently done one on her too. Let me know in the chat if Chris done one on her. Did Chris Proudfoot do one on Betty? Let me know in the chat if he did, because I've got something to say about that. Okay, so he did. Okay. So Chris probably put down, because Sebastian's his stepson. So Chris probably put Sebastian down too, and Chris probably put Faith down in his as well. So and Katie probably put Sebastian and Faith on hers too. In my opinion, all of them were probably putting Faith and Sebastian on these order of protections. So Chit Chat says, didn't CP threaten Betty on a video? I don't know, but if he did, that would be more reason to show up in court to prove your case, and she didn't do it. And thank you, ICU, for being in here and helping out, modding and helping people with the information they need. Appreciate that. Everybody give ICU a big round of applause. She's a great gal, and she really, I don't know where she finds the time to help everybody at, but she does, and she does a great job. So yeah, show ICU some love, guys. Throw them hearts up there. Mary says BHB should have gotten a PO on Chris Proudfoot. I mean, there's a lot of things Betty could have done that she didn't do. Which unfortunately, hurts her in the whole scheme of things. Let's see. Seashell says, "Hi, Don. Where are you in Tennessee? We're over in Maryville. Just curious." Oh, I'm Sevier County, so we're basically neighbors. He most definitely threatened her. Again, Brittany, if when what was it, when Terry Bowersox drove in behind her, in that video, and she caught him on video doing it, would I have gotten out of the car and confronted him the way she done? No, but I would have called the police and said, hey, I'm up here gathering some content for a story, and the people that I'm gathering content on are following me, and it's creepy, and I would like to see about getting a restraining order on these people. But she never did. She never did. She had the opportunity to, but she never did. And again, she had the opportunity to show up in court to prove her case, to prove, if Betty thought it was frivolous, she had a chance to prove it was frivolous. And she didn't show up, and the judge had no choice but to, in my opinion, to do a default judgment against her on the order of protection. So let's see. Tina Martino says, I hope you'll apologize when all this comes to light. Whoa. Hey, Tina. We got someone in here that says, I hope you'll apologize when all this comes to light. What are you talking about, Tina? We got someone in here named Tina Martino. Is she talking to me? No, I can handle it, Brittany. I can handle it. So apparently Tina Martino knows stuff about the Sebastian Rogers investigation that we don't know. I'm calling Tina out here. We can do this. Come on, Tina. Come on with it, girl. Or guy. We can. It takes two to tango. I can dance. I can dance with the devil in the pale moonlight. I bet Tina disappears. What do y'all think? I'll bet you a hot dog and a milkshake that Tina disappears. Ain't it funny how they come in and kind of like get you going, and then they don't have the ovaries or the balls to stay around and finish what they started. It's kind of funny, guys. It's kind of funny. All right. Sorry, I see you. How about a milkshake? How about a strawberry milkshake? I'll bet a strawberry milkshake. How's that? We can bet on strawberry milkshakes. Boy, it didn't last long, did it, guys? That didn't last long at all. I'm still looking for that name in here, and I don't see it. Let me see. Let me go under participants and see if it's still in here. Yeah, she's still in here, I guess. Ain't saying nothing, though. Are you still in here, Tina? Tina Martino, come to the office. Tina Martino, come to the office. Oh, hang on, guys. Hang on just a second. I got something I want to show you. Hang on. We're going to have some fun here. Hang on just a second. We're going to have some fun with Tina. Hold on. Oh. Is Tina still in here? All right, I got something really good for you guys. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let me know in the chat if you're ready. I got something I got something hilarious for you. And Tina, if you're watching, hey Tina, if you're watching, this is for you, okay? This is for you, Tina. Hey, Mr. E. All right, you guys ready? Give me a drum roll in the chat. Tina Martino, come to the office. Tina Martino, come to the office. Tina Martino, come to the office. Martino, come to the office. Oh, Don B's got him a bullhorn. Don B's got him a bullhorn. Daughter picked this up when she was down in Pigeon Forge. I guess they had what was it? What is it? Jeep invasion. They had Jeep invasion in Pigeon Forge recently, and my daughter and her friend got one and was hollering at guys with it. So anyway, I had to do that, guys. I'm sorry. Old Don B's on the roll this morning. How's Mr. E doing? You doing good, Mr. E? We're just over here talking about Bullhorn Betty and cutting the rug over here. We're just trying to have a little bit of fun, guys. Boy, I bet that right there just pissed off that Tina Martino pretty good, though. But no, I mean, guys, when it all comes down to let me before I forget, I was going to talk about this in a later video, but we'll go ahead and talk about it because it's starting to gain traction on YouTube, and Seth was talking about the police going to say something about they've got information. I guess Seth said that they're going to tell him about it today. Let me know in the chat if you guys heard that. Yeah, I'm doing good, Mr. E. I'm glad you're doing good. So has that come out on YouTube yet, what the police wanted to tell him or anything like that? So I remember Seth making a statement. People on YouTube were talking about it, and they said he didn't know why the police couldn't tell him right then and there about it. But okay, so here's my opinion on that. Okay, so Seth is saying that he talked to a corporal or a lieutenant or something like that with the police, and they said they now have some information, but they can't talk to him about it until today. Okay. But then Seth gets on here and says basically that they did tell him that they have information and that they were going to tell him today, something about that information. And again, now don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to come sideways at Seth or anything, but and maybe the police are testing Seth. But again, this is one of the things that has disappointed me about Seth, is the fact that when police do tell Seth something, he's got to go blab it on YouTube and social media. Thank you, Tori. But see, and as soon as the police told Seth that they were going to tell him something, what did he do? He comes on here and blabs to social media that the police have more information on Sebastian's case, and the police don't want Seth telling the public about this. You know what I mean? I understand that Seth needs to know, but at the same time, if it's sensitive to the investigation, maybe guys, maybe this is the whole reason why we've not heard anything from law enforcement. You know what I mean? So, and again, I'm not going sideways at Seth or anything, but we seen it in the Idaho 4 case. The family members of the Idaho 4 were pretty pissed off at the police because they wasn't sharing any information with them. But they did eventually come out and clear people. Now I'll give them that. Eventually, at least they came out and started clearing people. I'll give them kudos for that. You know what I mean? But when you're police, we got to stop and think. When you are police, you have to ask yourself, okay, if I tell a family member something, what happens if it gets out into the public? And it's really just supposed to be information between me, the investigators and the family member. Well, you have to ask yourself that. So that's the only disappointing thing that I can think of. As far as Seth goes, that's the only disappointing thing that I can think of. Seth tends to get on here and talks about the investigation, and I don't think, because it just, I mean, as hard as it is, guys, as hard. I mean, if I were in Seth's shoes, would it be hard not to get on here and tell the public, because it's hard enough to, be missing your son. But again, it's hard enough to know stuff and not be able to talk to anybody about it. Now, does that mean Seth can't talk to nobody about it? No. I just don't agree with getting on here and telling the entire world about it. You know what I mean? I mean, if Seth has a close circle of trusted people that he can talk to, yeah, definitely share that information with them. Thank you, Spirit 8. Thank you. But if Seth has a close circle of people he can trust with the information police give him, and it allows him to get that off his chest, and he can trust those people not to blab it to the world, that's what he needs to do. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. That's what Seth needs to do. But getting on here, just telling the world, possible sensitive information to an investigation is not the route that I would want to be taken. Six String says, I agree, Seth needs private support. Yeah, I think, I don't know anything about Seth or who he hangs around or anything like that, but he definitely needs a good support system. And let me stress this, guys. Let me stress this. He needs a good support system that has his best interest in mind. Not their best interest, not their pocketbook's best interest, not their popularity's best interest, not becoming famous as their best interest. Whoever Seth associates with needs to have Seth's and Sebastian's best interest in mind. And if that means not being popular, not making no money off of it, then that's what it means. You're doing it for the right reasons. Mr. Reed says, we met Seth in person Saturday. He was very kind to us and to our son, Austin. Yeah, I mean, I say Seth is a very nice man. But again, when it comes to something like this, I think here's what I think's happening. I think Seth has really been put into a public and very popular spotlight. I mean, Seth, Sebastian, Katie, and Chris, and probably the Bauer Sox, they have all been put in an international spotlight. Okay. And in a tragic crisis like this, if you don't know how to handle it, I believe it can take its toll on you. You can make bad decisions, and it can affect you in a lot of different ways, from your health to your finances, just everyday decision making. that, that's what I think. That's what I think. So I don't know now, guys. I don't know now if police are going to share with Seth what they said they were, because now he's exposed it to the entire world through social media. And to be honest with you, it wouldn't surprise me if the police back out of providing Seth with that information today. I'm just saying, it wouldn't surprise me if police now turn around and back out of giving Seth the information that they were going to give him. Now, I hate to say that, I really do, because I mean, if anybody deserves any information in a missing child's case, it's the parents, it's the family. You know what I mean? Um, Now I will tell you, because someone said, I say Karma Moon, Kai Gypsy Karma Moon says, I'm hoping they just hand the case over to wash their hands of it. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. What you probably don't know is the TBI is doing 90% of the investigating in the Sebastian Rogers case. They're doing 90 to 95% of it. And I would bet my life on it. I would bet my reputation. I would bet, I just know how these things go down. I know how they're worked. And I will tell you, in my opinion, 90 to 95% of this investigation is being done by the TBI. Kid Gypsy Karma Moon says they can make it official. A lot of times they don't. They just keep that stuff behind the scenes. And again, when I was talking to the police, they did tell me, which I'm not sure if I was supposed to have gotten that information, but they did tell me that it's basically being handled by the TBI. And again, I wasn't asking the question about that. I just happened to mention the TBI, and I was told that, well, they're basically doing it anyway. They're basically in charge of it. So when police tell you, when the statement is made, well, TBI is basically taking charge of it anyway, I mean, what does that tell you? What does that tell you guys? Grace Paris says, Dawn, is there any other TBI office besides the one in Strawberry Plains? Now, the one in Strawberry Plains is just an evidence. That's a building designed to just store evidence. That's where people from the area just take the evidence and drop it off. Yeah, there's one in Johnson City. There's probably, besides the evidence building in Strawberry Plains, they probably got an investigator's office in Knoxville. They've got one in Memphis and Chattanooga, I believe. Johnson City, Chattanooga, Knoxville, and Memphis, if I'm not mistaken. But the one in Strawberry Plains is, Nashville. I forgot Nashville. Yeah. I can't believe I forgot Nashville. That's where they're headquartered. And that may have been why I forgot to mention that. That's just where they're headquartered. But the one in Strawberry Plains, if y'all don't know anything about TBI, there's one up here just outside Knoxville in a little city called Strawberry Plains. That's actually where Bullhorn Betty, Molly Golightly, I think JLR went there to do some protesting or something like that. Y'all remember that? But that TBI office is just, that's where all the evidence in the Summer Wells case is being held. All the evidence for the Sebastian Rogers case is going to be held there. Not unless they have another evidence building, which they could. They could have one for East Tennessee. It wouldn't surprise me, guys. They probably have an evidence building for East Tennessee, and then they've got one for West Tennessee. So more than likely, like Summer's evidence, it's probably being held in Strawberry Plains. Sebastian's, if there's, whatever evidence they've gotten that, if they've got one in, dedicated to the West Tennessee area, that is going to be where Sebastian's evidence is being held. Grace says, I am close to Strawberry Plains. Oh, okay. So, yeah, me and you both are close to it. So, Karen Barlow says, Dawn, what did Nick say this morning? I do not know what Nick said this morning. Let's see. Tori says Nashville will be the one over Sebastian Sumner. Yeah. Like I said, Tori, they've got a building dedicated to evidence here in Knoxville. They probably got a building dedicated to storing evidence in Nashville, and that probably handles more than likely from like Crossville, Cookville, all the way to Memphis. And who knows, they might even have an evidence building where they store evidence. They could have one in Memphis too. You know what I mean? Because now thinking about it, that would just be, if you had one building to store evidence for all the cases that they work in Tennessee, that would have to be a very huge building. And this building ain't big. You know what I mean? It's the size of a small strip mall. So, they more than likely have several evidence buildings where they store evidence. And more than likely, they're separated what region in Tennessee, like East Tennessee, West Tennessee. Who knows? They could even have one in Chattanooga, but I think the one in Chattanooga, the field office in Chattanooga, they bring their stuff up to Strawberry Plains. So I hope that helps you guys out with a little bit about the TBI and kind of what they do as far as the evidence goes and all that stuff. Barb says, finally catching alive. Thank you for all you do. Anytime. Grace says, I trust the US Marshals. Boy, they don't mess around, do they? They do not mess around. And they've got a bunch of branches too. I know there's a Marshal service for the Smoky Mountains. They hit a lot of the hotels and stuff looking for people on the run that may be staying at a hotel in the area, staying in the Smoky Mountains, North Carolina, all that stuff. And you don't want to mess with them guys. They're like the U.S. Marshals. If I had to describe the U.S. Marshals, and let me know if you think if anybody has had interactions with the U.S. Marshals, let me know if I'm right about this. But if I had to compare the U.S. Marshals to something, I would compare the U.S. Marshals to an FBI agent that acts like Grady Judd. If y'all know who Grady Judd is. But imagine an FBI agent that don't take no crap. That would be what I would compare the U.S. Marshals to. And they know their stuff too. maybe an FBI agent would tell someone, hey, you guys need to get out of our way. We got a job to do. A US Marshal would basically like, you need to get the F out of my way. And he would probably be pushing you out of his way. You know what I mean? They mean business. The US Marshals don't sugarcoat nothing. I mean, when they're in business mode, they're in business mode, and they have no manners. They have no manners. They're locked in, and when they've got a job to do, they do it, and they do it aggressively. So anyway, guys, that's what I wanted to bring to you. Again, Bullhorn Betty was on here talking about, she got arrested for allegedly threatening to sue some people. Again, I do not think that would be grounds for a order of protection violation. Now, if Betty was on here, intentionally making, Chris and Katie feel, because that's in the order of protection. You cannot, via internet or third party or whatever, you cannot make the person or people with these order of protections, you cannot make them basically feel uncomfortable, because they can violate you with that. But does threatening to sue someone constitute, a safety issue? No, I don't think it is. So there's, I think there's something else there besides, Betty getting picked up because she threatened to sue somebody. More than likely, in my opinion, it's because after the order of protection was granted, she kept dropping names and, just talking about them in general. And, once the order of protection was granted, I wouldn't, just to be on the safe side, I wouldn't be dropping names specific to the order of protection, because you just don't know how those people are going to take it. You don't know how they're going to twist it. You don't know how, you just don't know. So, and again, it's not only Katie and Chris, but I'm sure Katie and Chris put Sebastian's and Faith's name in those order of protections. So, when Sebastian's name is mentioned, if Faith's name is mentioned, you really have to watch what you say if you have an order of protection on you in regards to that. But to play it safe, the one thing to do for sure would just not be to mention those names. Just don't mention, I wouldn't even mention any names that are attached to the order of protection. And you should be good. You should be good. But again, who knows? Now she's probably got another court date. You guys are saying that she's got a court date with Chris on his order of protection, which she better show up for it, or it's going to get a default judgment on it too. Or, Chris will get a default judgment. I'm talking like it's a credit card company suing her. Chris will get the order of protection by default if Betty don't show up. Because Betty would basically be saying, I'm not here to defend myself, and it looks like the allegations are true. That's why most people don't show up for, especially, like the credit card company sues you and you don't show up for court. Let's say MasterCard's suing you, or Walmart. Let's say Walmart is suing you for a credit card or something, and you don't show up for it. You get a judgment on you. You know what I mean? Same thing with the order of protection. She's going to have a court date for the order of protection with Chris. And now she's probably going to have a court date over violating the order of protection. So Betty's gonna have her hands full with court dates. She's gonna have a lot of court dates coming up, guys. So she's definitely gonna be multitasking, but going forward, you're probably not gonna see Betty mentioning Chris's name. You're not going to see her mentioning his name, Sebastian's name. She's probably not going to mention the Bauer Soxes, the Bauer Sox by name. She's not going to mention Faith by name, just because all those are attached to an order of protection, and you don't know how people are going to respond if you say those names once an order of protection has been granted. Don B, please see my previous comment. Blah, 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 blah. So allegedly the FBI put up a $50,000 rewards for Sebastian. Oh, huh. So the FBI is now offering $50,000 reward for Sebastian. All right. I see you, Mr. E. FBI put up $50,000. Yes, just announced. Okay, just now. Okay. And Rachel says, why is the FBI just now doing that? That's an interesting question. Why wasn't this done by the FBI 5 months ago? Now, let's analyze this, guys. Let's analyze it. Old Don B is going to analyze this for you because I make some pretty good points here. Okay, yeah, you can do it. You can throw a link in here, Mr. E. But yeah, let's analyze this here because that is a good question. Why would the FBI do that now instead of 5 months ago? So why would they do it now instead of 5 months ago? Anybody got any ideas on that? Well, now we do have to remember the police said that they have some information that they were going to talk to Seth about. Okay. Let's not forget that too. That could play into, the FBI throwing this reward money out. That could have something to do with that too. There may be some stuff going on behind the scenes, guys, where they're getting closer. They're getting closer. You know what I mean? But again, let me, before everybody gets too excited, okay? Before everybody gets too excited. And I don't want to be a party pooper by no means, but I just want to keep it real. Don B just wants to keep it real. Just like the flyers. You could stick flyers from here to Tokyo. And just like what is her name? Dee Warner, just like Dee Warner. If Dee Warner had been in that tank the whole time, flyers ain't gonna help. Flyers ain't gonna help. Now, if the FBI is asking, if they're doing a reward, $50,000 reward, and only 2 people, 3 at the most, know what happened to Sebastian if it's criminal, okay? And we all know we all know how Don B feels about the case being criminal. So if only 1, 2, or 3 people really know what happened to Sebastian, and those 1, 2, or 3 people don't talk, then even though you got a $50,000 reward out there, in my opinion, it ain't gonna help, because Summer had a reward for almost $50,000 and nothing happened. And in my opinion, that's because only a very, very small select group of people know what happened and are probably going to take that information to the grave with them. Now, Kendra says something here. Let's see. Mr. E says, did the FBI do Summer's reward? No, it was just local people doing it. It was just a bunch of local people that got. It was a rescue squad. The rescue squad headed up the Hawkins County Rescue Squad, done her reward. Kendra says, also feel neighbors know more. I think the neighbors have suspicions, but I don't think they really know anything. And I think, in my opinion, the flashlight video, the video with the lights and the flashlight, what appears to be a flashlight, I believe that maybe law enforcement know a little bit more about the vehicle involved now. What do you guys think? Do you think law enforcement has maybe finally ran across some footage, not in Sebastian's neighborhood, the stuff that we've seen, but do you think maybe at a gas station nearby or a store nearby or another Ring camera nearby that they were able to get more information on what type of vehicle that was? I'm kind of wondering if that's what's going on right now, guys. I'm kind of wondering if that's what's going on. And it wouldn't surprise me if the police don't come out, like in the Idaho 4 case, and maybe put a description of a vehicle out. Wouldn't that be interesting, guys? Would that not be interesting if they done a press conference or done an update and said, we now are looking for, a 1999 to a 2010, whatever make and model. Boy, that would really stir the pot. That would really stir the pot. But see, an older car would have GPS to prove it was in that area. See, if you're planning something like this, you don't want to use a vehicle that's got GPS or any kind of, stuff in it where police can pull that stuff. You want to use like an older car, like a truck that Grandis had, or, an old Suburban, something that doesn't have GPS in it or something like that. You know what I mean? I mean, if I was going to commit a crime, I wouldn't want a vehicle that had, anything that could be pulled from it. I would definitely use an older vehicle to commit a crime. So maybe Grace says, Dawn, they use older vehicles with 100 or more tags in the trunk of it. Yeah. Georgia Patriot Woman says, Dawn, read my comment above. How far up here is it, Georgia? Oh, there it is. Dawn, did you know about the ringtone camera that picked up a vehicle that night? in the neighborhood. I don't know about that. Now I do know that there was, there's probably multiple Ring cameras that picked up, stuff in that neighborhood. The thing is it legible? Can you make anything out? Red light camera, yeah. Janae Jones, red light cameras, Ring cameras, store cameras. There's so many cameras out there now, guys, that they may have finally come. I mean, can you imagine all the video that the police have had to go through and look at? Can you imagine that, guys? Imagine all the video that they've had to look through. And they're probably still looking through it, guys. They're probably still looking through it. And it makes me wonder at this point, have they come across some video where they were able to edit it, adjust it, bring some features out in it to go, whoa, dude, that's a 2002 Chevy Tahoe. You know what I mean? That looks like a 2002 Chevy Tahoe. Or maybe, that looks like O.J. Simpson's vehicle. So anyway, guys, I'm going to have to run. I got some other stuff to do. Anyway, I've got to run, but drop some comments. Let me know what you think about everything I talked about. And I've got to jump off here. I got someone hollering at me. So I got to go do some help for somebody. So anyway, love you guys. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you this evening.